Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. We are here today for week 1 of the NFL slate. I can't believe it's the season. It's NFL season. It's fall. We're ready to go. And we're going to go over all 12 games on the main slate. We're going to get through them. We're going to go game by game, team by team, and knock this information out for you, give you a jump start on building some of those lineups and hopefully being able to take down a Millie Maker. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by two of the most talented DFS NFL providers in the industry, our returning champion, Mr. Josh Crash Davis, and then our new guy that is already a veteran of some sorts is Miller Time, Stephen Miller. And fantastic to have you guys. Looking forward to just absolutely crushing this NFL slate throughout the year. So, Stephen, why don't you jump in first? Great to have you join us in your first official NFL main slate podcast.
Yeah, super excited. Been waiting a couple months for this ever since you gave me the opportunity to join Coach Talk. So real excited to get into it.
Well, we're excited to have you and your insight and knowledge. For those that don't know and they're just tuning in for the first time, Stephen was a very accomplished player, played at the Division I level. Arizona State is where you finished up at, correct?
Correct. Yep.
That's why you ended up in Arizona, I guess. But but fantastic. So a lot of insights there. And then Crash Davis probably could have been a star quarterback in college Division I, but just, decided to go take his talents to Coach Talk instead. So
you look like a quarterback, Josh.
I'll take that as a compliment.
You need the new Aaron Rodgers haircut. I saw that.
Oh my gosh. If I had the hair, I don't think I'd pull it off. But I'm excited. It's year 2 for me doing NFL with DFS Coach Talk, and it wasn't my best year for NFL last year, and I think I know why. So I'm going to attack it with a new vigor, and I expect to have some huge weeks this year.
Well, we're excited and know that you're going to definitely bring it every week. We'll be here every Saturday evening at 8 p.m. We want to give you a jump start to build those lineups, get things in place, get that set. And then if you're a member, you can follow along in Discord tomorrow. We'll be tweaking lineups, getting those ready to give out, and going through any inactives or any weather changes. So we're going to keep you up to date right down to the wire. If you can also follow us, if you're not a member, on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. We'll have a lot of information that we'll be also sharing there. If you're on YouTube right now, we'd ask you to give us a quick thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit that little alert in the upper corner. This way, whenever any of our podcasts post, and we do a 7-day-a-week MLB podcast, we have a podcast on Thursday at 6:50 p.m. Eastern for the Thursday game, and then this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern for the main slate. And we'll also be sharing a lot of information about the Sunday and Monday night games in our Discord and on Twitter as well. If you're watching on Twitter, we're there live as well. Please like and follow and retweet it. We'd really appreciate that. You can also follow us on TikTok. We're getting pretty into the TikTok world, believe it or not. So it's DFS Coach Talk, and then I'm at just Coach Talk. So we'll be posting those and piggybacking with our presenting sponsor, who I'd like to thank, and that is Boom Fantasy. Boom Fantasy is the best, brightest new tool, shiny, fun toy in the shed here. And if you haven't tried it, check it out. It's Boom Fantasy on Twitter. They're Play Boom Fantasy, Play Boom Sports, I mean. And you can click on the link right here in Twitter, on YouTube, on our website, TikTok. We have that link, and you can sign up for Boom Fantasy there. We'll also be sharing a couple of our Boom Fantasy and Prize Picks plays at the end of this podcast. And we're also giving away 5 tickets to the Millie Maker on Sunday. And that is very exciting because we want somebody to take that sucker down. That would be the greatest ever if we had a Coach Talk family member take that down. Quick hello to Rodney Pollard, King of Smack, Bev. Great to see people jumping in here. I know it's the first time. It's an odd time because it's before the Sunday, and it's there's some other sports going on, but we wanted to give you the chance to jump in here live, and then you have a chance to watch it this evening, first thing tomorrow morning, and get your lineups going. So that is it. I'm going to shut my trap most of the rest of the way and let these guys break down all the games. We'll be going over some ownership projections, some boom projections, and boom fantasy, but boom projections in the sense of who's going to really outdo their numbers and leverage wise really outshine their ownership. So we'll be going over those as we go through all of these games. All right, let's dive in. We want to, our goal was to keep this at an hour, and that's what we're targeting. So let's try and see. Speaking of targeting, I got to say this real quick. Did you guys see that Texas and Alabama game?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Was that the worst call you've ever seen? I mean, I don't know if I've seen a worse call.
Yeah, I've seen some bad ones, but I don't understand how they call that like that.
I mean, I don't care if you're a Texas or an Alabama fan. That was really ridiculous. And I spent 19 years in Texas and lived in Austin for a couple of those. And really, what a tough way to go down that. That sucks. And if you're an Alabama fan, I guess you got to feel like you got a gift. But what a shame.
Absolutely.
Well, you got their backup quarterback in there too. Yeah. So, they very easily could have lost that game.
I wasn't sure if we were going to see Arch Manning come out.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
After the Kurds guy was humbling.
Yeah.
I really thought Manning was going to come into the game.
I'll tell you what's really amazing to me is, and it's sobering. This is the third generation of Manning that I've watched play. I watched Archie play.
True.
And then of course Peyton and now, the next youngest Peyton coming up, third generation, unbelievable. So where does time go by? How is that possible? But it happens.
It goes quick.
Yes, it does. All right, let's go, family. Let's get into this. First game on the slate. All the 1:00 games here we'll go over first. It's the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints are a 5.5 point favorite. It's 43 over under. And this game is obviously in the Dome. So let's throw it to you first, Crash. Any interest in the Saints side of the ball?
Yeah, I like Alvin Kamara a little bit. My main focus here is the Saints defense. I don't think that much, I may be proven wrong, but I've never really seen much from Marcus Mariota. And I think that this is going to be a long day for the Falcons. So one of my good friends is a big Falcons fan. So I'm sorry to say that, but I don't think it's going to be a good day for the Falcons at all. If you have any Falcons, I do like Kyle Pitts on the other side. He's an up-and-coming tight end. He's almost a wide receiver the way they play him. So he's going to be their number one target. And so I do like Pitts a little bit, and I think they'll be playing from behind, so they'll be throwing a lot. That would be my only play, though, on the Atlanta side.
Okay. How about on the New Orleans side?
Alvin Kamara and the Saints defense for me.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll say right now, Alvin Kamara is the projected 5th highest owned player on the entire main slate. He's $7,600 on DraftKings, and he's projected 15.6% owned, which is the 3rd highest running back on the entire slate. Are you going to go that direction as well, Steven?
Oh, it's going to be interesting. Jameis Winston, the second year in the Saints offense. I would go with Alvin Kamara as well in the Saints D.
Okay.
Just because, there's there's really not too many reliable people in the Saints offense that you can choose from. And I don't want to take Michael Thomas. I actually kind of want to wait a week with the Saints before I start picking guys that I would really want in my lineup. But yeah, I'd go with Alvin Kamara and the Saints D. And then for the Falcons, I think it's going to be the only positive side really is what Crash was saying was with Pitts and then potentially Cordell Patterson coming out of the backfield, catching passes and that little bit of run game. But the Saints have an incredible run defense. I think it's going to be very difficult and it's going to be an uphill battle for the Falcons this week.
Yeah, it very well could be. Looking at the boom tool, believe it or not, Kyle Pitts, 6th highest boom potential at 15.5%. So as a tight end at 5,700, that could be a spot to go. No question about it.
Yeah, definitely could be. Because like I said, they're probably going to be playing from behind, so they'll definitely be throwing to him a lot.
Yep. The two Saints in the top 20, which is surprising that there's two of them, but I guess because they're playing Atlanta. Alvin Kamara's coming in at around 14th on the boom at 12.1, and your buddy Jameis Winston, 15th at a 10.9 boom potential, and his ownership is low right now at 4.6. He could be very, very sneaky.
Another real sneaky play would be Taysom Hill because he's designated as a tight end this year, and they're going to use him all over the field. So he might be throwing the ball, running the ball. I mean, they're paying this guy $100 million, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be using him a lot.
Right.
But that's just a sneaky play that I would kind of go with, either in your long-term fantasy or a daily fantasy to try to get a cheap guy. But that could be a sneaky play as well.
Could be. King Moses joined us, so we like that. Time to part the Red Sea here. We've got Moses in the building. Great to have you with us. All right, we're going to go to game 2. I like this pace. We're making note of pace, and we're doing well.
Right.
Cleveland Browns at the Carolina Panthers. A lot of intrigue in this one. The Baker Mayfield scenario, pretty wild. It is Carolina -1. 42 is the over-under. There's a small chance of rain, 11%. So I don't think it's going to really affect play, and no wind to speak of. So in that sense, the game should be clear. Steven, let's start with you this time. Browns, Panthers. Does that ring any bells for you?
Yeah, I would probably just go with the running backs in this game. It's really unknown how the quarterbacks are going to play and with the receivers. And Cleveland kind of had a lousy receiving core last year. I mean, they brought in Amari Cooper, but I just don't know how that connection looks. So I would probably go with Chubb or Kareem Hunt for week 1 for the Browns. And then on the Carolina side, obviously it would be Christian McCaffrey. The guy's so dynamic. They're going to try to get the ball in his hands as much as they can. I see him getting 20 touches this game coming up. Other than that, there's really no one else that I see doing too much for the Panthers.
Crash, what do you got?
Yeah, I have the exact same thing. And really, because it's week 1, I mean, we just kind of have a feeling out process here. We're going to see what these teams are going to do, how they're going to run their offenses, if they have a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, there's new quarterbacks. So we just, we're going to kind of, for me, my strategy is to kind of play the plays that I feel the most confident in, that I know how they're going to run their offense, the defenses that I know how they're going to play for the most part. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of risk on this first week. And just kind of fill it out and see how it goes. But McCaffrey, as long as he can stay healthy, I mean, that's been the thing for him is his injuries. So as long as he can stay healthy, I mean, he has the potential to be the top running back on any slate. So, yeah, you definitely have to consider him at the least.
No doubt. McCaffrey right now is the second highest owned player on the entire board at 20.2% projected at 8,500 as a running back in that game. So he's going to be dead chalk. No question about it. Are you guys, is he in your initial builds?
He's not in either of my initial builds, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of my builds either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be contrarian in itself because he's projected number 2 owned on the entire main slate, and he's number 5 on the boom chart. He's 15.6, which is a real, anytime you're in double digits on that boom tool, which I like to use, I think you got to really take notice. But, again, you've got 15.6 percentage boom number and a 20% ownership. So, you're going to get, can you live without him is going to be the question, or are you going to need those points? That's the tough call.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Let's go to game 3. It is the San Francisco 49ers at the Chicago Bears. This is a game that we're going to have some weather issues, I believe, and that could come into play. So when we break that down, let's definitely look at that. Right now, it's 69% chance of rain, 9-mile-an-hour breeze, so not too windy, but if it's wet and a little windy, that's not a good combination. Right now, San Fran's a 6.5-point favorite. 40.5 is the over/under in that game. So, Crash, does the weather scare you away? Is this a defensive-oriented game, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, what kind of comes to mind with me this game is, if you remember a few years ago when San Francisco went to Washington and it was just a rainy, messy, muddy game, and it was like 9-0 or something like that they won. I could see it being that kind of game. I think that San Francisco's defense and their running game dominates this game. Eli Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, especially with Kittle banged up. I mean, he may not even play at all. If he does, he's going to be very limited. So I think their running game is going to dominate this game. I think Justin Fields will make a lot of mistakes trying to force throws. Balls could be tipped. There could be fumbles. With that weather, you just never know what's going to happen. So I definitely think the 49ers defense and their running game is my plays here. If you want to go with a Bears player, Darnell Mooney is somebody that they've been hyping up all off season. The Bears fans are just ranting and raving about him. So if that comes to fruition, I mean, he could be a wide receiver 1 this year for sure. But, that San Francisco defense, Nick Bosa, those guys, they're going to be getting after Fields. So I think it's going to be a long day for the Bears.
Interesting. Are you on the same page with that, Steve?
I agree with Crash, especially because of the weather. It's going to be a running game. It's always a running game with Kyle Shanahan. So the way I see it is with Elijah Mitchell basically taking the bulk of the carries. They'll do a lot of RPOs with Trey Lance. So we're going to see him run the ball a lot. We're going to see Justin Fields run the ball a lot. We're going to have David Montgomery running the ball a lot. If I was going to pick anyone in the game, it would be the running backs or the defenses, because it will be a low-scoring game. So it would either be Elijah Mitchell on the 49ers, David Montgomery on the Bears, or either one of the defenses is who I would go for.
Yeah, and it's showing that way in the initial ownership and boom numbers. I mean, these teams just aren't getting any action at all. This game is going to be very low owned DFS all the way.
Yeah, I think the Bears, I mean, even without the bad weather and everything else and going up against a tough defense like San Francisco, I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. So
Yeah, I agree. Also, obviously it's the night before, so we're going to update the weather. I'm a big weather guy, so I'll be all over that in our Discord. And if things change, it certainly affects some of these games. We'll update you in the morning and then right up until lock. But yeah, this game definitely not going to be high on the DFS radar. Probably going to be one of the. I mean, unless you're a fan of those two teams, I'm not sure. That's a very exciting game to tune into.
No.
We have a quick question. I want to welcome Scott Keats to the group, and it's an interesting question. And based on the numbers I read with ownership and boom potential, all three of these guys I mentioned. So he's saying, how do you feel about a Winston Kamara stack and Pitts running it back on the other side and going after it right off the bat in that game? Is that too much of a stretch for you, Crash?
I'm looking at this right now. How do you feel about a Winston Kamara Olave stack? Okay.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry. I saw
That's okay.
I saw Pitts.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to stack Jameis Winston in week 1. I mean, I know it's a favorable matchup, but the guy turns the ball over a lot. And that would be my main concern with making him like my top quarterback. Olave is a rookie. You never know how that chemistry is going to go. You don't know how many targets he's going to get. There's a lot of unknowns there. I mean, that's kind of why I think Kamara is the safest play here. In a GPP, I can kind of see it, but I don't know that the ceiling is going to be there for the wide receivers.
You agree, Steven, I assume?
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't really see Winston doing too much this game.
Yeah.
But he's a very cheap player in DK, so you could actually build around the roster with him. I don't. But however, I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't.
It's also a great thing to bring up real quickly here is stacking in the NFL compared to baseball. We know baseball is the stack sport of DFS because, they smash a pitcher or whatever, and you get a bunch of guys getting, hitting and runs and scoring, and it feeds off each other. Certainly, I love to go a quarterback and a wide receiver together because a lot of times that's going to be, the play. But what are your guys' stances in general on stacking in the NFL? Now, granted, cash and GPP are different, but overall, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, it has to be a pretty elite team. If it's Mahomes before last year, if it was like Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, and running it back with like a Josh Allen or something. I mean, something like that on the other side, or Stephon Diggs, because you wouldn't have two quarterbacks. So Stephon Diggs, something like that I could consider. But I don't like to stack when it's, like super risky like that. It just doesn't usually pay off in my experience.
How about you, Steven?
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit different this year. Like Crash was saying, with Tyreek Hill and Mahomes, just like how Devontae Adams with Rodgers.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be going to each other. Rodgers is going to go to Adams 15, 20 times a game. So it's worth it in that situation. But this year's a little bit different. There's really not a connection other than, Cooper Kupp with Matthew Stafford. The other night with the whole Diggs situation and, worrying about the Diggs and Ramsey, matchup, they took Diggs and threw him in the slot. So Ramsey doesn't really play guys in the slot. So it created a lot of confusion. He was able to get open. He was able to get over the top. Was a really smart play by the Bills. So, Stephon Diggs really impressed me on Monday night.
Yeah,
or on Thursday night. Yeah.
On Thursday. Yeah, for sure.
Don't forget about that quarterback wide receiver Dak Prescott CD Lamb stack. There's my first Cowboys reference.
Hey, I can definitely get on board with that on the Sunday night. Yeah.
I know it's not even on this slate, so I can't.
I have a sneaky play in that game. There's a sneaky play on that game.
Okay, yeah. I love it. All right, let's dive back at it. We got a, like I say, decent pace going here. So we go to the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Very interesting game right out of the chute here. Should have very nice weather in Cincy. They are favored by a touchdown. 44.5 is the total. And everybody interested to see what the Pittsburgh quarterback's going to do and, how this game's going to roll out there. I truthfully expected Cincinnati to be more than a touchdown favorite. But what do I know? Vegas knows better than I do for sure. So, Steven, let's start with you this time. What do you think about this backyard?
Yeah. So if I was going to go ahead and there was going to be a stack, this would probably be the stack. I would take Joe Burrow. I would take T. Higgins. I would take Jamar Chase. I would take Joe Mixon. The offensive line has improved so much. They're gonna be able to hold off the Pittsburgh Steelers D line a lot better than they did last year, but less sacks for Joe Burrow. Really, I think the game's going to get kind of out of control, and I think Pittsburgh's going to be coming from behind. Najee Harris is the only guy I would probably take on that team based on the quarterback situation, and I don't know really what the receivers are going to do on that offense. So most of my play would be with the Bengals this week.
I agree completely.
Aren't you surprised it's only a 7-point spread though? I mean, that's everybody's talking about the Bengals.
Yeah, I would definitely take Cincinnati more than 7 here. That's my only concern with running with Harris is, how far are they going to be behind? They might, but at the same time, do you really want to throw with Mitchell Trubisky 40 times? We've seen what that does. So It's a tough game for Pittsburgh. I like the Bengals defense as well. I think Trubisky will make some mistakes when they get behind, trying to force things like he did in Chicago. And Mixon's my favorite play. One of my favorite plays on the whole slate, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mhm.
You know, what's amazing here is, would you believe the projections for ownership? The Bengals have 3 guys in the top 15. They're 11, 12, 13, but they're all right there. Joe Mixon at 7,100, Jamar Chase at 7,100, and T. Higgins at 6,100. So you got 3 guys grabbing like 14% ownership for the Bengals right out of the chute. And then the top guy for the Steelers, and the only guy anywhere within shouting distance, of course, is Najee Harris.
Right.
And he's only 6,400 considering. What do you guys think about Harris? I thought he'd get a little love here.
I just don't like the game script and how it's going to play out. Like
they're going to be behind.
They're going to be behind. I love Najee Harris. I think he's great. I think when he gets the ball, he never fumbles the ball.
Right.
You know, he always gets, it's like 5 yards in a cloud of dust, but you never really see him break a long run. I don't think he's got that speed to outrun defenders. So I think Cincinnati is going to have more guys in the box.
Yeah.
They're not going to really be worrying about Mitchell Trubisky in his arm at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, Najee Harris has targeted 18 times in a game last year. So he's definitely capable of getting those targets. But I think, like you said, that Cincinnati's just going to key in on him. Everybody knows. I mean, that's their top weapon right now. So, yeah, I think everyone keys up on him on the Bengals side of the defense, and they forced Trubisky to beat them. And I don't think it's going to end well.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You know what's really odd though is, you look at all these boom bust tools, and you're looking at the ownership, and everybody's grabbing Bengals, and on the boom tool, Jamar Chase is in the top 15, T. Higgins is in the top 15, but in both of these, on about the top 40, no Joe Burrow. Why is it? Is it because they're going to be too far ahead and have to run?
Somewhat, but he's also been banged up, so I think
that could be the case
too. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. He's going, but you think he's a little ding, so that could be part of the reason people are shying away.
Yeah,
but somebody's got to throw the ball to those dudes if they're going to have the games everybody thinks they're going to have.
Right. True. I have him in one of my lineups this week.
Okay.
So, Burrow.
Yeah, he had an appendectomy, which that's a painful thing to go through. But yeah.
It is for sure. But if the game stays close, like Vegas says, one score, then I think he could be dangerous. I've got him in one of my GPPs right now. I'm with you. He's getting no love whatsoever, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, that's the kind of play that I like, Coach. I like that. I'd take that in a GPP way over Winston if Burrow's going to go low owned. I think
just has such a high ceiling. You know?
Yeah, the guy was one of the top quarterbacks in the league last year.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Want to say hello to Charles Brandt. Thanks for jumping in, boy from Cali. Our man's in there. And yes, Charles, FanDuel's all jacked up. This happens every year when the NFL starts. They get so much action on the NFL, these DFS sites, that they like melt down. They have mispricings, things get locked up. So I wish they canceled the whole slate after the way I saw Urquidy started. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I hate him.
Yeah, I never play him either. I don't know why I chased that whole
my goodness
LA thing.
But they hopefully FanDuel, they'll usually when this happens, they in like 30 minutes or an hour they get it straightened out. So
we've got like a million guys hitting home runs. So hopefully
it is. The ball's flying tonight for sure. All right, we're back in it. We go to an interesting one, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Detroit Lions. It's Philadelphia, a road favorite by 5, 48.5, a pretty big number here. That makes you think there's some DFS stats to be had. Obviously, it's in the Dome in Detroit. Crash, any love in this game?
A lot of people I've seen are on Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think he's a solid play, but it's kind of another deal where you got these new weapons, trying to feel that out. And, how's the chemistry going to be with A.J. Brown? How much is he going to throw versus run?
Right.
Is Miles Sanders ever going to become anything with their running game? We've been waiting on that to happen. That's never really happened. Yeah. On the Detroit side, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown picks up where he left off last year. I really like him. He's a sleeper for me. And then the Eagles allowed the second most fantasy points to tight end, so I like TJ Hawkinson a little bit at tight end as well.
I'll tell you, I played him a lot last year, and he was so many weeks he was just a bust. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
If they just stunk and they just doubled him or what, but he did not perform as the elite tight end that I thought he would be. But
right.
Again, that's last year.
Yeah, it's last year. There's more weapons for Detroit. DeAndre Swift should, take some of that attention away from him because he was banged up last year.
He was.
And, DJ Chark came over from the Jaguars. So I think there's some weapons there that can take the attention away from Hawkinson, and he'll definitely be a red zone target, for sure. So
yeah, there should be points in this game. There really should be.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, Miller Time?
I like the Eagles in the game, obviously. The defense through free agency and through the draft, that defense has only gotten better and better. The Eagles they ran the ball the most, which is surprisingly last year. Even more than the Titans, which you would think it would be the other way around. So I like Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts in prop bets for a rushing touchdown as well. But who I like is Goddard and Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, and for Detroit, I like DeAndre Swift, and I actually like a guy, Josh Reynolds.
Okay.
One of Jared Goff's old targets back for the Rams, came in last year, did well when he came in and played. He's really cheap in DK. So those are my two guys that I like the most.
Very nice. That could be a good sleeper GPP guy. So let me ask you this question, like I did with the other popular guy in McCaffrey. Jalen Hurts right now is getting a lot of attention. Definitely getting some ownership, and he's number 2 on the boom chart at 18.4. So I don't know. I mean, could he be your starting quarterback this week for DFS?
He's not going to be my starting quarterback this week, but he could be somebody's starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'll say the exact same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. If he's going to be that high owned, I'm probably not going to go there.
Well, he's by far the highest quarterback on the boom potential chart there. So I think that gives him a little bit of a lift. There is the ownership in that game, though. Obviously, we as we said, DeAndre Swift is getting some attention, as he deserves. He's at about 14% projected ownership right off the bat. And then Jalen Hurts is, like I said, pretty high up there. He's at 12, so he's in the top 20. And then Stevens pick Dallas Goedert, the tight end, is getting a lot of attention. He's only 4,500, and he's about 10% owned right now. So that's a guy that's definitely going to, make some lineups for sure. All right, we go to the next one. It's the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. It is Indianapolis favored by a touchdown. 45.5 is the total in this game, and they are playing in Houston in the Dome. If they open it, it doesn't really matter anyway. It's just going to be warm and sunny. So more than likely, I think it's going to be close because it might be a little hot. But either way, does this game interest either one of you guys? Crash, what do you think?
Well, Jonathan Taylor is my top back on this slate, but he's so expensive. It's just I've been having a hard time fitting him in my lineups.
9,100. Yeah.
And he's like 10-8 or something on Fanduel. I mean, it's ridiculous. So he
deserves it, though.
Yeah, it's very deserving for sure. I kind of like the Colts defense as well against Houston. I don't think that much of that offense. And I do on the Houston side, I do have a sleeper. It's kind of a punt play, but the tight end, Brevin Jordan. He is a punt play that I'm looking at on DraftKings at tight end. But that's about it for me. Everyone else on Houston, I'm not that crazy about. Brandon Cooks, he might get some love, but, for the most part, just that punt player, move on.
So is it McCaffrey or Taylor? Who do you give the edge to?
I would take Taylor.
Yeah, I would take Taylor too.
Especially going up against Houston.
Yeah.
Carolina's going against the Browns. Browns has a really great defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Taylor a lot.
Is he going to make your lineups pretty? Is he? I've
been trying to fit him in. It's difficult. He's expensive, but it's he has made into one of my lineups. How to get creative with a couple other spots with guys that I could think can take off based off of injury, and the way I usually do it is I find rookie guys or second year guys that are in the best situations with the best quarterbacks, and more than likely, those are the guys that are gonna take off and give you the fantasy points that you need in order to be able to win a contest with taking a guy like Jonathan Taylor. So that's kind of how I do all my contests. But yeah, I like Jonathan Taylor a lot, and another guy I like Michael Pittman. I like Michael Pittman a lot too. I actually like Matt Ryan in that offense. I think their offensive line is great. I think their defense is really good.
Yeah.
As far as for the Texans, I would just take a flyer maybe on Dameon Pierce, to kind of, he's the rookie out of Florida that just got there. They just released Marlon Mack, so he's going to be the starter. I don't know how much he's going to split carries with Rex Burkhead, but I like Dameon Pierce, and he's pretty cheap in DK as well. So.
Interesting. As far as ownership goes, there's two guys very high on the board here, 6th and 8th overall in projected ownership, both from the Colts, 15% Jonathan Taylor, and just under 15% Michael Pittman. So Taylor and Pittman getting a lot of love. Nobody else in this game showing up pretty much anywhere. So it's really those two. And what's really interesting is Michael Pittman is also 8th on the boom projection at 15%. So, 5,500, that makes him in play to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see
I think he's underpriced.
Yeah. Another play that I wanted to mention on DraftKings, Nyheim Hines, the backup for Jonathan Taylor. He should get a lot of targets with Matt Ryan. We talked about in our preview show how he targeted running backs more than anyone last year.
Right.
And so I do think that Nyheim Hines, could get, if you have, I don't remember how much he cost, not a whole lot, like in a flex position or something like that. I could see him getting into a GPP or two in DraftKings.
Yeah. And another good play is Jonathan Taylor, 2.5 receptions in Prize Picks, but that's one of my
somebody Kingus Max says my man Flaherty's not doing very well. Well,
the Cardinals I don't know what the heck they're doing.
They are collapsed. They got that 9.5 game lead, and now they feel like the season's over. I don't know what's going on there, but I replaced Flaherty with Urquidy, so that goes to show you what my baseball night is. So I'm focusing on football right now. There, King of Smack.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm with you though, brother. I mean, you can't win them all. I was talking too much smack. I've been on like this insane 8 of 11 slates on Yahoo, and of course I got frosty today about it. Now I'm taking a punch right in the teeth, but that's DFS. You got to roll with it, man. That's why we teach here at Coach Talk bankroll management, contest selection. If you do those two things and don't get carried away, you can make it happen. That's really the way to do it. If you're watching right now, real quickly on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for us, hit the subscribe button. That's super important to us. We really do appreciate that. Check out Boom Fantasy if you can. Their link is here on Twitter, and in YouTube, and on our website. We'd love to have you for the NFL season. Come join us, dfscoachtalk.com. All right, we go to the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins, an old rivalry here, and very interesting game for sure. It's Miami -3.5 It's going to be a beautiful 87 degrees, sunny, no real wind, no problems there. Beautiful South Beach weather. And it's 46.5 for the total. So some points being scored, it looks like, in this one. And a lot of question marks, at least in my mind, on both of these teams. This one, as I was doing some prep work, was a major head scratcher. Steven, what do you think? Anybody jump out to you in this game, or are you just confused his eye on this one?
Well, in the past, first of all, the Patriots never do good in Miami.
That is usually their kryptonite, even when they had Brady.
For some reason, something goes on down there.
Yeah. The partying in South Beach. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, of course. But, yeah, absolutely. But I like Damian Harris for the Patriots this week. Really, anything in the running game. There's not too much else that I like with the Patriots. Potentially Hunter Henry, but the only guy I would probably take would be Harris for the Patriots.
Okay.
I'm this is one of the most exciting games to watch, to see kind of how the Dolphins are going to be this year with all the guys they brought in, with Tyreek Hill and Mostert and Mike McDaniel, just everything. I want to see how this one plays out. I'm super excited. For the Dolphins, I have plays that I would like to do is Mostert. He's a cheap play, and I like Jalen Waddle.
How much is Mostert going to get the ball, you think?
I don't know. If he gets well, first of all, if he doesn't get hurt, then he's going to do well.
Right.
I don't care if he gets the ball 8 times. If he gets the ball 8 times, potential of him scoring a touchdown is very likely. So, and he's such a cheap play, and I think if he doesn't get hurt on the coin toss, I think he'll be pretty good.
Yeah, hey, it could happen. Really. You never know.
Do you think, Steve, that Mike McDaniel might use Waddle kind of like he used Deebo Samuel?
Potentially, right? Yeah, I could see.
I'm looking at their body types. I mean, obviously Tyreek Hill is not, that kind of a player, but I could see Waddle kind of being in that role, which they haven't talked about that, but I think that's a potential fit there. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he came from San Francisco. I guarantee it. They motion every single play. So there's always going to be misdirection happening with the Dolphins on every play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could totally see him getting that same role that Deebo got in San Francisco.
For sure.
It's going to be a exciting game, though. I'm really excited to see how the Dolphins look this year.
Yeah. I'm right there with you on Miami. I think that they're going to be exciting to watch. Just have to wait and see how they're going to use Tyreek, how they're going to use Waddle. I'm not going to really go to any of them yet, but they're definitely a team that I have my eyes on for the future in DFS. As far as the Patriots go, I will say that Ramondre Stevenson could vulture some touchdowns from Damian Harris, so you have to be careful about that. But I do like the Harris play outside of that. So,
yeah, I'll tell you what, this game is like DFS players are saying no thank you, because they're not getting any ownership on either side of the ball for either team, and they're not on the boom list almost anywhere. The only guy in a double-digit boom potential is Hill at 10%. I mean, he should be 10% when he rolls out of bed, but it's one of those games I've felt a little smarter when I looked at it and said, okay, I'm not the only one thinking, you know what, I don't even want to mess with this game. It is just a tough call all the way around.
Yeah. I think it'll be a feeling out process for the Dolphins, and that's why I'm going to wait on them. But I do like their defense a little bit in this matchup. I think that Xavier Howard and some of those guys could get some picks. So.
Excellent. All right, we have 2 more 1:00 games. The Baltimore Ravens at the New York Jets. Baltimore's favored by 6.5 on the road against the Jets. Jets. 44 is the total, guys. Fine, just a small chance of a shower, but weather should not affect this game whatsoever. Any interest here, Crash, in this wonderful game here of the Jets at home?
Yeah, I actually, this is my favorite stack of the week.
It is?
Ravens.
Wow. There you go. That'll be contrarian within itself.
Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, the Ravens defense. I like all those. So, yeah, the Ravens are my top stack.
You are on the Ravens big time. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. Anything at all on the Jets side, or, do they keep it close enough to keep all your Ravens in there to get their points?
We talked about Breece Hall in our preview show for the running backs, but I don't think this is the week. The Ravens' run defense is really tough.
Right.
And he's a rookie. It's going to take him some time to get used to it. So I'll wait on Breece Hall, but he's definitely going to be somebody I'll dial up in the near future.
Okay. Are you on this game like Crash is, Steven?
I totally agree.
Wow.
The Jets are just that team, just end the season, That's what they stand for.
Yeah.
The running back situation, it's not clear. I don't have a clear person who's going to actually be the main guy coming into week one. It's kind of all over the board. And then they have Joe Flacco. The guy will throw about 4 picks this game.
Yeah.
So I don't really. I'm going to go with the Ravens, and I do like all the big stack that you're talking about, Crash. I do like Mark Andrews. I love Lamar Jackson. They don't really have any running backs that are going to, just like last year, that are going to do anything. I mean, it could be Mike Davis, it could be Kenyon Drake, but I don't want anything to do with that. My biggest play is probably the defense, Baltimore defense, Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'll tell you, one thing you can say about Coach Talk is we are not chalk players. We're going to give you some contrarian looks. And as of right now, Baltimore's not getting that much ownership. They don't have anybody projected in double digits. Mark Andrews right now is the top guy projected at 9%. And then it drops all the way down to, let's see here. It drops down to the wide receiver, Rashad Bateman. That he's the next guy on the list for projected ownership. So this is going to be a little contrarian, a little sneaky, I think. I will say Mark Andrews is 3rd overall on the boom list at 17.4. So that's a huge plus. Certainly can look there. But other than that, on the boom list, there's Lamar Jackson's all the way down at 6%. So you're gonna get your Ravens in a good leverage situation, I think.
I hope so. Is he the number 1 projected tight end?
He is the Kelsey's number 1. Andrews is number 2.
Okay.
And then
because I have Andrews number 1, but I do think that it'll be between him and Kelsey. But I think Andrews is my favorite. I like his, since we're gonna go over our prize picks plays. I like his prize picks number at 16.5. I think that he gets in the end zone. I think he gets probably 10 targets. I mean, without Marquise Brown, he was the main guy that Jackson was targeting. So I think that Andrews is going to, he had a huge year last year anyway. So I just think
he is good.
Kelsey,
by the way, is the number 1 projected owned player in the entire deal.
I went down a rabbit hole the other night looking up Mark Andrews and everything about him.
And did you?
School and everything like that. Yeah. He was a receiver in high school, had 1,000 yards, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year.
Oh, wow.
Oklahoma, got converted at Oklahoma to a tight end. It was like the 5th most receiving yards for Oklahoma. Just incredible stuff. The guy is such a good guy too. But I really love how he attacks the football.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. And how he's kind of like a forward and boxes people out and just knows how to use his body as leverage. It's really incredible. I like Mark Andrews a lot.
Yeah. I love the call. You know what's going to really make it for you guys and why he's going to be such a great leverage play for you? He's 6,800 and Kelsey's 6,600 on DraftKings.
Right.
He's more expensive than Kelsey.
Yeah, exactly.
So people are going to see those two and say, I'm going to go Kelsey, but I get you. I'm with you.
Well, the other thing is Arizona is really good against tight ends. So that's my only concern with Kelsey. We'll get to that in a minute, but that is my concern with Kelsey.
So. All right, folks, the last 1 o'clock game, and then we'll dive into the 4 afternoon games at 4:25. It's Jacksonville at Washington. The Jaguars, and I get to say it for the first time, the Commanders. They're playing the Jaguars here in a game that could be rainy, 55% chance of rain. Washington's favored by 3. 44 is the total. What are you going to do here, Steven? Punt?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Antonio Gibson in this game. I think he's going to get the ball a lot. And really on anyone else on that side of the ball is McLaurin. I just don't know how Carson Wentz is going to be in this offense. So I'm kind of staying away from the receivers for the Commanders, but I like Antonio Gibson, a play for the Washington. And then with the Jaguars, I like Travis Etienne. I like Trevor Lawrence. I actually like Christian Kirk. There's 3 different guys that I like for that team. And really put up some major fantasy points. So yeah, that's my play for that.
Interesting. So you're going to have some exposure to this game, and the weather doesn't scare you either?
No, weather doesn't scare me. No.
All right. What about you, Crash?
Yeah, Gibson is one of my favorite running back plays. McLaurin I like, but I don't know if this is the week to play him. I kind of feel like it's not, especially with the weather, new quarterback, they're going to have to feel that whole process out. So yeah, Gibson is probably my favorite. I do like Etienne, but I don't know if I'm going to go to him this week. I might wait another week, but yeah, I can definitely see why Steve would like him.
Yeah, very interesting. The number 1 owned component of this game, believe it or not, anybody want to take a guess?
Is knowing who's going to score the most points?
No, it's the Commanders' defense.
Oh, yeah.
It is the number 1 projected owned defense right now.
I have them in all of them.
On DraftKings?
Yeah.
25. It's only 2,500.
Yeah, 2,500.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
And that's why it's a little bit of a free square there. There is some love for Antonio Gibson because he's underpriced, 5,800.
Right.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
So he's getting definitely some love in this game. Christian Kirk, 5,100. So you can go bargain basement here and get some guys that are getting some attention for sure.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thought they're going to be going away from Gibson a little bit because of Robinson, but then he got in that incident where he got, shot. So it's a little bit of a serious situation there for sure. So yeah, Gibson for now is their lead back. So
Commanders defense. That's, I think, the way to go in this one, believe it or not. I didn't think I'd be saying that, but there you go. All right, 4 games at 4:25 all start at the same time. Kansas City Chiefs, Arizona Cardinals. It is Kansas City, a road favored by 6.5, 53.5, fellas. 53.5 is the biggest number on the board in Arizona, in the Dome. It's the greatest show on turf scenario, like the old days. If some old people remember those days. But is this game a feature game? What do you think? Crash?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn between Mahomes and Jackson, but I think I'm leaning more towards Jackson just because I feel like I'm more confident in what Jackson's going to do. Mahomes, besides Kelsey, he's got a whole bunch of new wide receivers. We don't know how that's going to look, if the chemistry is going to be there. It's going to take a while for them to get on the same page. They looked really good in preseason, but that's preseason. The defenses are very vanilla. Offenses aren't fully, invested in their playbook. So it's tough to say. But, he would be the one play I would like because, most likely all the points are going to be going to him. I don't expect Kansas City to score a whole bunch of points in the run game. So,
okay. And Steven?
Yeah, I never really liked Kansas City's run game any year. So
Yeah.
I think they always want to have the ball in Mahomes' hands and let him do what he does with it. I really like Kelsey in this situation. I think he's going to get targeted a ton. I'm excited to see who that receiver is. That receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster, or Scantling, or Hardman, or Sky Moore. I really have no idea who that guy is going to be.
Right.
If I was going to choose, I think Hardman would be the guy.
Okay.
Gotten like 20% increase in targets and receptions every year and yardage. So I think Hardman will be the guy, but who knows really until we actually see how their offense plays out. As far as the Cardinals go, I like Kyler Murray. I don't know about his receiving core. We'll see how it plays out with Hollywood Brown. But getting rid of Christian Kirk and now DeAndre Hopkins isn't in the lineup, and Zach Ertz is game time decision. He might not play. So and Rondell Moore's not playing either.
Right.
So the only guys that I'd probably want on that team is Kyler Murray and probably James Conner would be my only two
Makes
players.
sense.
James Conner scored a ton of touchdowns last year. So
yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah, he did really well.
And Edmonds isn't there anymore either, so he's not going to take away from him. Yeah.
He's really got no competition in that position.
Right.
Well, it's supposed to be the highest scoring game on the slate, and it is getting a lot of ownership. I mean, as we said, Travis Kelce's number one overall projected ownership at almost 21%. How about Marquise Brown, though? Fourth projected ownership here. He's the guy people are going to at 18% right now for Arizona. I thought that was a little surprising.
That is surprising. He's probably going to see L'Jarius Sneed, who's a pretty good corner. So that's pretty surprising.
6,200 though is a fair price. You know, I can see that. Then you got the two Chiefs here, Juju Smith-Schuster and Patrick Mahomes, both in that top 20 as well. Schuster's only 5,200, so you get a little salary relief there. And I thought Mahomes was fairly priced at 7,700 personally. I was expecting him to be over 8,000.
Yeah, my initial build, I had Mahomes, but as the week's gone on, I've leaned more towards Jackson. But I could definitely see Mahomes too.
I'm leaning towards Mahomes for what it's worth, but we will see. On the boom bust tool, not only is Kelsey number one on ownership, he's also number one on that list. Also, Marquise Brown, fourth on the boom list, 18.2%. So people are looking at those numbers and expecting some output. Mahomes is double digits at 11%. He's getting some decent attention, and that's about it. And as far as Mahomes goes, that is the one guy, especially now that the Hill's gone. I'm not going to be worried about playing a receiver with him. I always usually like to pair my quarterback with at least a receiver or tight end. Kelsey's the guy, though, for me. I'd look at him as the guy. I think all those other receivers that you mentioned and some of the back coming out of the backfield, he's going to throw to all those guys 5-6 times each. So to me, it's just I'm probably going to start with Mahomes and Kelsey and go from there. But you're the football pros. I'm just a wannabe football pro here. I'm the basketball guy. See, if I had a football behind me, I'd have a better chance. But I just think the price is right for those guys. I'm not a big believer in the Cardinals, to be honest with you. And I'm not a Murray fan either. I think they grossly overpaid for that guy.
Absolutely. I'm not a fan of Kingsbury either. So that whole organization, and I'm here, and I
true. Yeah.
That's a team I see on TV all the time. And I don't know. I just don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. We'll see. I just, it's a long season and things can happen. So we will see what happens. All right. We're going to go to game 2 here on the late slate or afternoon slate, I should say. It's Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers. Everybody's sweetheart that they took first in their year-long leagues, Mr. Herbert. He is in here, and a beautiful day in San Diego. That typhoon thing, whatever has been swirling around over there by San Diego and LA, it looks like that's finally going to blow out to see regular old nice day in LA, 85 degrees, nothing to worry about, no real winds. And the Chargers are favored by 3.5. 52 is the number. Steven, any interest, since you have the hat on that matches the team a little bit?
I love the Chargers in this one.
Okay.
Stack. This is the stack I would do with the Chargers, with Herbert and Eckler and Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. I like all of them. I think they're all playable. I would play any of them. Their defense has gotten a lot better too. Unfortunately, in this game, I probably wouldn't play their defense. I kind of want to see how that one plays out, but I like her. I like those four guys for the Chargers. As far as the Raiders go, it's going to be exciting to see how Devontae Adams is with Derek Carr.
You're right.
I would want a piece of that.
Yeah.
8,100 for Devontae.
Yeah.
He's expensive. He is expensive.
He's expensive. The guy produces.
Yeah, he does. The other thing is J.C. Jackson is not going to play for the Chargers, and he was the corner they brought in over from New England, and that will definitely help Adams as well. So, I definitely like Adams, and the Chargers are my second favorite stack. So I feel like we've been pretty much in step on this first week, Steve.
Yeah, and it's not like they're chalky guys either, or chalky teams.
Yeah.
You know, ownership is spread out so much, but right now, Devontae Adams, even with that big price tag, is about 14% projected, even with that 8,100 number. Austin Eckler at 8,200 is next on the list at 10%.
Yeah.
A little pricey.
Yeah, he is, but he had huge games against the Raiders last year. So
I know.
Keep that in mind. This is my favorite game from a game stack perspective. I think this will be the highest scoring game. I know Kansas City, Arizona, everyone thinks, but like we talked about, I don't trust Arizona. So I think that if two teams are going to put up the points, this is the one that's going to happen in.
Very well could be. Darren Waller, 5,400 in the top 20. Any possibilities he gets in there for you guys?
I like Waller. I feel like I haven't seen him do anything in the past year and a half.
Right.
And I don't know if Waller was so great because the Raiders didn't have anyone else other than Waller before.
True.
So,
they just added Adams is all.
Yeah, they just added Adams, but they still have Renfro. I don't think Renfro's going to really lose too many targets in that offense. I mean, that guy just knows how to get open. So you want to find the guy that knows how to get open, especially on those third down conversions. So I think the person that's gonna in that offense that's gonna lose it the most is probably Waller.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that. For sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Devontae's even at that big number, you're gonna have to commit to him price wise, but he's 7th overall on the boom chart at 14.5%. So people expecting a lot out of him in this game, and if you're going to roster him and commit to that salary, you're going to need some big numbers from him.
For sure.
All right, fellas, let's go to the next one. We've got the Green Bay Packers. Now, let's skip them. I don't want to talk about them. Do you, Steven? They're not worth it.
Hey, I'm loving Aaron Rodgers' attitude this year. He's like loving everybody. That all Alaska trip or whatever he did.
Yeah,
it made him a better person. Like he is I'm worried if he's going to turn into Serrano in Major League 2, though.
I'm telling you, I don't know all the weird stuff. He is an interesting dude. That's for sure.
He's smiling. He's congratulating people. He's patting people on the back. That's not Aaron Rodgers. That's not the Aaron Rodgers that I know. Aaron Rodgers that I know is the guy that is just, chip on his shoulder, shrugs off people, doesn't talk to his family, different things like that.
He's going to, JP Davis 1982 is going to throw a punch at you here pretty much.
No, but I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's turned around 100%. But
Jets placed Dwayne Brown on the IR. King of Smack just put that on there. So just something to know. Thanks for the info.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I like Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, I could play him any week. I like Aaron Jones this week. It's tough to go with those receivers.
Yeah.
So if I was going to pick any pass catcher, it could potentially be Robert Tonyan if he's active, just because he could be the security blanket. No, I think Aaron Jones will probably be the security blanket. Robert Tonyan is definitely interesting. It's an interesting play for me. But you could go with those rookie receivers, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, and it's an exciting game. I'm excited to see this game. This is like, life without Devontae Adams. So it's pretty awesome. And then
it is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll skip Crash. He doesn't have an opinion on this.
Yeah,
game.
my opinion is too biased. No, I think. Well, Steve, what about the Vikings? I mean,
so with the Vikings
on them.
Yeah, the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, both those guys are in play for me. Even Kirk Cousins. So even though Green Bay's defense is pretty solid, I still think those guys will get their volume and their touches, and I think they'll score some fantasy points. So I'm good with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson.
Okay. So Tunyon should play. He came off the injury report yesterday. Bakhtiari and Jenkins are questionable, so that's definitely something that I'm wanting to see what happens there, because with Daniel Hunter back and Zadarius Smith, I don't want to talk about him, but came over from Green Bay this offseason. And he said that he's looking forward to playing them 2 times a year. Apparently there was some bad blood there on his part, but but anyway, so if Bakhtiari and Jenkins play, then this is going to be a lot different game. If they don't, it could be a long day for the Packers. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, they'll be the ones to offset that pass rush if, Bakhtiari and Jenkins don't play. So they would be my first plays. But if they play, I do think the passing game is going to get some traction. Watkins has actually been playing very well in practice, and Rodgers has been impressed with him. So he's kind of a sleeper. He's projected to be lower owned than like Romeo Doubs, who's 3,000 on DraftKings. So he's going to be, because Cobb is in the slot. So, it's going to be Watkins and Doubs on the outside. So those are going to be the 2 receivers that are getting the targets on the outside, and then Cobb will be in the slot. So, and I don't know how Watson's going to fit in because he missed quite a bit of training camp in the offseason. So I'm not sure about him yet, but I do like him. I mean, he's tall, he's fast. He looks like a really good receiver, an upgrade from MVS potentially for sure. But anyway, Aaron Jones is my favorite play on Green Bay. Adam Thielen, for whatever reason, has been a Packers killer. So I would keep on him. Jair Alexander's back. So, I think he could slow down Jefferson. I don't think anyone's going to shut him down completely, but I think he will slow him down. Packers have struggled with tight end. So Irv Smith's kind of on the radar a little bit too. So that I'm not as high on the quarterbacks here. But the running game and then maybe a receiver from each team would probably be my favorite way to attack it.
As far as the ownership to this point right now, Justin Jefferson, pretty healthy, 14% at 7,800. So he's getting some good attention in this game. Aaron Jones as well, 6,700. He's 13% projected ownership there.
Yeah.
And then Adam Thielen, as you mentioned, he's only 5,400. And he's had a good history against the pack. And he's at about 11%. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Aaron Jones, the only thing with this stat is that A.J. Dillon's there now because he wasn't there as much when this stat was, being accumulated. But he scored almost double the fantasy points without Devontae Adams in the lineup. So that's definitely, he's averaging like 23 fantasy points a game without Adams. So, it's definitely something to keep an eye on because he was their second leading receiver as far as receptions go last year. So
definitely a nice play. I'll be using him in a lineup for sure. The only guys out of this game are the receivers from Minnesota, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, both coming in the top 20 for the Boom tool, 14 and 10% respectively.
Yeah.
All right, last game. It is the New York Giants and Tennessee Titans. It is 5.5 favoritism to the Titans. 44 is the total in this one. Give us your last team take here, Crash. What do you got?
Derrick Henry. That's going to be the play for me. Robert Woods and GPPs I like a little bit. He's going to be their wide receiver 1, I think, until Treylon Burks. If he ever becomes a wide receiver 1, I think it'll take some time. So Robert Woods is going to get the target share. The Titans don't pass a ton. That's my only concern there. So that's just, Derrick Henry is the main play for me. I think Tennessee will have a lead most of this game, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do with Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I hope he gets to break through and not get hurt and all that, but he's just been so injury prone. It's so hard to trust him. So,
yeah,
I don't like anyone for the Giants. I really don't like anyone other than Derrick Henry in this game. I think this is going to be the lowest scoring game of the week. I don't see the Giants scoring many points, and I don't see Tennessee scoring many points. It's probably going to be 20-0. But I would take the Titans defense.
Yeah,
interesting. Agree. You're getting a lot of ownership for Saquon Barkley right now, guys. He is third behind Kelsey McCaffrey, third right now in the projection. Saquon Barkley, 19%.
Yeah,
6,100.
It's old saying about potential. Potential will get you beat.
It will, but he's cheap because here's the problem. The other guy in the top 10, of course, is Derrick Henry, but he's 8,600. So that is a big ticket.
Yeah, that is for sure.
But he's 15% projected, even with that big number on his back. So,
he could put up Jonathan Taylor numbers, and he's cheaper. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, and not a lot on the boom chart for this one. I think that they're similar thoughts to what you're saying, Stephen. This game may not be a super high scoring game, but Barkley is the highest on there at 14% for the boom. So he will be a boom or bust guy, probably more than likely.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And then Henry's on there as well.
I just don't think he's going to have many opportunities to do too much. The quarterback is, I don't know. The quarterback play for the Giants isn't very good. Again, Vrabel is a defensive-minded coach. He's going to stack the box. Barkley's really not going to have much opportunity for anything. So, I don't like Barkley at all this game.
All right, I'll put you guys on the spot as we wrap up here. I appreciate everybody listening, and I'm going to do this right now. I'm giving away all 5 tickets right at this moment. All at once. I'm going to hit the randomizer, call out 5 names. All you have to do, we still have tickets that haven't been claimed yet, Crash. Can you believe that? Wow. Stephen, if somebody's going to give you a free play, aren't you going to take it?
Oh, absolutely.
So if your name is called, just go to Twitter, DM us at DFS Coach Talk. Just it takes 2 seconds. Say, my name is Jim Smith. My PayPal email is jimsmith@gmail.com. Bang, you get the money. You got the ticket. You win the $5 million, and you give a little share to Coach here as a thank you. So that's the plan. All right, we have 5 winners, free tickets. The first one is Charles Moran. You are a winner. Hopefully you're still in here with us. The second winner is King of Smack. I think he's won already, but that's okay. We want multiple winners in here.
Yeah.
The third winner is King of Smack, came up twice.
Oh.
But there's no rule to say that it can't on a randomizer.
Yeah.
So King of Smack, you've won 2 more tickets. You're gonna max out this with freebies from Coach Talk. All right, the next winner is Bev. Bev also won in our Thursday podcast. Bev, I don't think I heard from you though. Jalen Hurts in cash for sure. Okay, Bev, how about you give us that information? We'll get you the money, and you can play. You can play him. So, Bev, congratulations. And then the 5th and final person is Mark Foth. He is that 5? I think so, because we had
2 for King of Smack. Yeah, 2 for King. Yeah, that's 5. Yep, that's 5.
That's the 5. So at DFS Coach Talk, on Twitter. Shoot us that info. You'll get the tickets tonight so you can get those lineups in there. All right. As we go here on the pressure, and again, we didn't rehearse this, so I hope you guys can pull it off here. A lot of pressure. We'll make Steven go first since he's like a rookie hazing.
All right, let's do it. What
Your
is it?
number one top pay up play of the day.
My number one, my top play of the day.
Only one.
Only one.
Yep, your number one franchise guy for this game, this first week.
For this first week, I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce in the tight end position.
Okay.
So that's my number one play this week. I think.
Okay, now you bumper it up with what we think. I think it's just as important as picking the winners. Who's your number one fade? And it has to be somebody that's pretty popular. I don't want some cheesy dude as your fade. So somebody that's a lot of people are going to own, that you're going to flat out fade. He's not going to make any of your lineups.
Russell Wilson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want
no
Russell.
Respect for Russell.
I mean, he's not part of the main slate, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't like Russell Wilson last year with Seattle. And I think Denver gave up way too much to bring him in. I don't like Russell Wilson this year.
Okay.
Well, maybe I eat my words, but I just, based on last year and kind of just what I saw out of him, he's
the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, he's the Monday Night Football. He's just not keeping his eyes downfield. He's really feeling the pressure, and it's just been not really great quarterback play out of that I've seen from him.
Gotcha.
In the past year or so.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to pull a prank on Crash and blow your mind. I'm not going to ask you for the same two things. So there, you're all prepared to answer those two. This is called the coach's curveball here. I want your number one value play. So he's got to be considered fairly cheap it's going to make a good chunk of your lineups.
Can he be ownership?
Oh, Pujols hit 696, by the way.
Oh,
How
nice.
about that? Live in person here.
Sweet.
Great to hear. All right, go ahead.
So can he be high owned, low owned? I mean, does it matter?
As long as he's cheap.
Okay.
And
Romeo
a good
Dobbs.
value play for you.
Romeo Dobbs, definitely
Yeah.
my top value play.
Dobbs, very nice. And then your did you have something else?
No, I was waiting to hear what the other you had two of them for me, so I was waiting to hear what the other
I
one
do.
was.
Okay, and this is going to be a quirky one. Now, other than the Commanders, because we already said they're going to be number one owned, I want your defense that you're going to focus on playing on this slate, because that becomes a stickler for some people. It's just a no-brainer. You throw it in, and it can cost you.
Yeah, I'm really torn on my defense.
It's one of those positions. It's one of those
it's-
positions you just fill in, right? Because you
Yeah,
don't
it
get
is.
points from
Yeah,
Also
but
San
I've
Francisco.
won stuff because of my defense.
Yeah.
I'm telling
it.
you.
Yeah.
I'll say San Francisco. I have a feeling in that weather.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Justin Fields get chased down, and he made a lot of bad decisions. And so I think that's the play. San Francisco defense.
Outstanding. All right, my friends, that is it. Other than Boom Fantasy and Prize Picks, do you guys have those ready? You want to fire those out there? Crash, how about your Prize Picks plays?
I already gave one, and that was the Mark Andrews over 16.5 fantasy points.
Okay.
And then my other one is going to be Aaron Jones over 36.5 receiving yards. We talked about how he was their number 2 receiver in receptions last year, and I think that's only going to increase this year. So
I like that call a lot. I'll definitely play that one. Prize Picks for you, Steven?
I have Austin Heckler. It's a half a touchdown. I think he'll get that.
Okay.
And Travis Kelce, 6.5 receptions.
Kelce or bust. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then our presenting sponsor, who we love dearly, Boom Fantasy. Your top 2 plays for Boom Fantasy for this week. We'll be giving a few more out tomorrow prior to the slate for our members in Discord as well. Crash, what do you have?
I've got Mariota over 0.5 interceptions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like that play a lot against the Saints defense. And
Okay.
I've got the same play for Baker going up against his old team. I think Denzel Ward and those guys are going to be tough on him, and I definitely think he's going to throw him the ball once at least.
Wow. Baker Mayfield, INT. Maybe a pick six. I'll call a pick six.
Okay, I'm with that. I can get on board with that.
Steven, Boom Fantasy.
Boom Fantasy, I have Nick Chubb over 59.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
And
Ooh,
I have Jonathan. That's low.
That's low.
That's low, yeah. And I have Jonathan Taylor over a half a touchdown.
That'll be played a lot, I think. No question about it. Outstanding, fellas. Thank you so much. Everybody, thanks for listening in. We went $1.20, so a little bit longer than we were gunning for, but that's not too bad considering we hit the whole main slate. We'll try to squeeze it down a little bit as we go forward. Our goal, again, try to get it closer to an hour. Oh, Melinda's in. All right, Melinda, what's up? That's our man, Kyle, who is new to our team as well. Great to see you in here. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. I hope that okay, that's great. But look at it. You know what? Boy from Cali is like, he's the best.
Yeah.
So, Crash, go ahead and mention that.
Yeah, I'm so glad he brought that up. Yeah, the last I checked, we only had 4 people in there. So we definitely need more of you guys to get in that contest. We have a weekly DFS Coach Talk members only, DraftKings, GPP, 20 entrants. I have a lineup in there, but it's only like IR players that aren't playing. So everyone has a chance to win. And the top 3 will win prizes. First is $45, second is $27, and third place is $18. So if you haven't joined us yet and you're a DFS Coach Talk member, if you're not a member, you definitely want to join us so you can get in that contest.
Outstanding. And you get to talk a lot of noise all week as being the winner of the contest on Coach Talk, the first ever NFL contest. So it's you could go down, you could be famous for sure. Oh, great. Todd's in there with us too. How you doing, Todd? All right. Well, that's it, guys. We've got a terrific job. You two, really proud to have you on the Coach Talk team and heading up our NFL. We're going to have a terrific season for sure. And join us, dfscoachtalk.com. We provide core lineups for DraftKings, full lineups for Fanduel and Yahoo. And you want to catch the fun here. We definitely have a great group. So for Crash and Miller Time, I am Coach. We will see you again on Thursday at 8 p.m. And then we'll be back the following Sunday Thursday at 6:50, Sunday at 8 p.m. I don't want to mess it up. If I mess it up, how are you guys going to keep it straight? So we'll be back for those pods every week with these two handsome gentlemen and my ugly mug, but we will definitely be back. So thank you for listening in. Give us that thumbs up on the way out, subscribe, hit that alert, and then when our podcasts are posting. I'll be back in the morning solo, 11 a.m. with our MLB lineup for tomorrow. These guys will be posting everything in Discord for our members. Have a great evening, a great Sunday. Enjoy the first week of the NFL, and we'll see you again next week when we look to crush it in NFL. It's a new one, NFL, DFS, and Boom Fantasy.